Welcome back to the Red Canyon, everyone. We've returned here for Sothis' paralogue. Before I talk about the mission, I want to run through the roster quickly. Byleth is back in Mage. I said a while ago that he'd be spending most of the early game in physical classes, then sprinting through Mage Mastery. That time is now. He needs to earn Fiendish Blow, and he also needs to get at least B+ Reason quickly so that he can promote to Warlock on time. Warlock will bump his innate magic stat up to a respectable 17. Lawrence can finish Mage here, and then he'll be able to switch to Dark Mage. Dark Mage is a better class than Mage with the Heartseeker ability and slightly more magic, but its mastery ability is less useful than Mage's. With the way the starting positions on this map work out, there's no real advantage to having Stride on someone with Canto, so Marianne's using the Saros Holy Monks. This is a huge relief to Leonie, who finally gets a real battalion and gets to use the Archer class. Since all the enemies here are monsters, Hilda's Seal Speed ability is pretty useful. She can slow down the wolves, which are otherwise really fast. And Petra's still a thief. There's nothing to steal here, and anyone could use a key for the one chest on the map, but thieves have a particular advantage we'll see in a minute. Lysithea, who finished Mage Mastery in the last mission, is the one unit who's benched. I'm trying to make a lot of progress on class mastery in this map, and Lysithea is the only one who has nothing left to master. I have Raphael, Flayn, and Ferdinand as adjutants. Even though Flayn would grant bonus damage to Byleth, I've attached Raphael to him instead. I don't want Byleth to do more damage. In fact, I've given him the Alliance Knights, a battalion that cuts his magical attack by 2. I'm doing this because I want to maximize the number of battles he can do, and I want to leave kills for my other units whenever possible. The reason we're doing this paralogue first is the treasure in this chest, the Knowledge Gem. It's an equipment item that doubles the skill and class experience gains of whoever's holding it. This thing makes it much more feasible for my units to master multiple intermediate classes before reaching level 20. All of them will do at least 2, and some will master 3. Byleth is 72 points away from mastering Mage. If he's holding the gem, that's 18 battles at 4 points each. Raphael needs 34 points to master Brigand, 17 battles at 2 points apiece, or just 1 less battle than Byleth. So by attaching Raphael to the Professor, my efforts to give Byleth a lot of battles would give me 2 class masteries, not just 1. I'll run through the numbers for the rest of my units as well. Claude needs 76 points for Death Blow. Lawrence, 20 for Fiendish Blow. That'll be easy enough. Ignatz, 78 for Brigand. Marianne, 30 to master Mage. She's a little farther out than Lawrence, but that's still doable with some effort. Hilda, 40 points for Darting Blow. This'll be tight. Leonie, 76 to hit plus 20. Petra, also 76 for Steel. Cyril just started Brigand. Balthus is another 76, also in Brigand. Flayn is nearly done with Monk. Again, she's going to equip White Magic here to train Faith. I'm saving Reason for Instruction, since Byleth's rank in that is higher than hers. And lastly, Ferdinand just became an Armored Knight. With all that covered, I think I've messed around in the menus for long enough, so without further ado, let's get started. The first objective is to reunite Byleth with his students, but there's a monster in the way. Marianne's Stride covers everyone but Leonie. Thanks to her extra range, she can hit the wolf anyway, and she can do so without facing a counterattack. Now that Leonie has broken one shield segment, the monster is temporarily stunned, so Claude can break the next one with his hand axe. And Lawrence continues the chain.
Let me at him.
Now I'm making Balthus use Onslaught, a gambit that will not only break the last barrier, but also push the monster back. This opens up room for more people to join the assault.
Ready anytime.
Ignatz can come in to finish off the first health bar with his steel axe. And lastly, Cyril uses Monster Breaker with the forged steel axe to take a huge chunk out of the second bar. I gave Petra the March Ring. Together with Stride, that boosts her movement just enough to reach the chest on turn 1. But that's not all. Since she's a thief, she doesn't need to use an inventory slot on a key. That means I can fill her inventory with other items so that when she opens the chest, I can send the Knowledge Gem straight to the convoy. Now Byleth can run into the northeastern wolf's range, pull the gem straight out of the ether, and wait. It'll take a long time for Petra to catch back up with everyone. Hilda can give her a hand by repositioning her over the wall, saving her 4 tiles of movement. Thanks to Monster Breaker, Cyril has enough power to finish off the wolf with just the Iron Axe. He opens up this bridge for everyone else to cross. Lawrence can't attack or heal anyone, but he can still contribute by pulling Ignatz forward. Marianne can take the newly opened space as she runs up to heal Byleth. Just like with the first wolf, Leone continues the break chain by shattering the next barrier segment. This procedure of systematically cracking shields will become routine. It's generally the best way to handle any monster that got first strike against you. Hilda chips in from range. I mentioned in Miklan's mission that when using bows, you're always able to counterattack monsters, even without close counter. Since this paralog only has monster enemies, that means nobody needs to have close counter equipped. For the record, whenever you counterattack with a bow, the damage is applied to the closest barrier segment, even if you don't have close counter, and the closest segment is adjacent to you. Ignatz and Claude are both headed for warrior promotions, so they both need axe rank, and I want them to use the hand axe over bows when possible. Ignatz is borrowing it for later.
It's hard to...
This wolf attacked us first, and Byleth broke one piece of its barrier with his spell. That triggers his staggering blow immediately, so I'm going to break the entire barrier right away to cancel it. At the same time, I no longer have any way to stun the right-hand wolf, so I'm going to finish it off now. It has high enough speed to double a lot of my units. Cyril can't attack because he'll die to the counterattack. But if Hilda applies Seal Speed, she slows the enemy by enough to keep Cyril safe. While we were looking at the reclass menu, I suggested that Byleth would use the Knowledge Gem all the time so that he would get 4 class mastery points per engagement. However, one of the truly powerful features of the gem is that it's a tradable item. I can pass it around and boost the class experience of other people too. While doing this mission, I discovered an interesting bug. Normally, in the trade menu, if you move a unit's equipped item to a different slot, they'll automatically put on the topmost item in their inventory. That works here. Claude can take the Knowledge Gem into his own inventory, then swap it with his Accuracy Ring, and he'll auto-equip the gem. However, if you trade weapons after you trade equipment, this doesn't work. The UI will show that you've equipped the topmost accessory as usual, even if you open the character's inventory on their own after the trade. However, the change doesn't take. You still actually have the old item equipped. As soon as your unit finishes their turn, the UI will revert and show the previous accessory equipped again. So I had to take care to make Claude take the hand axe first, and then switch the gem with the ring in his inventory. You can also resolve the error by manually re-equipping the old accessory in the items menu after the trade, then equipping the new one. If I'm extra clever about trading, I can make sure that Byleth nevertheless ends up holding the gem every time he acts. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to build a giant trade chain where nearly everyone takes the Knowledge Gem to do their action on player phase, and then Byleth takes it back at the end of the line and has it equipped for enemy phase.
That helps.
The realities of geography mean I can only pass it around to a few people right now. But every turn after this one is going to look like a version of the computer game Snake. My chain of units builds up one by one, and it can make 90-degree turns, but it can't pass through obstacles, enemies, or itself. Since the only monster nearby is stunned, there's no need for Byleth to have the Knowledge Gem for any enemy phase action. And now the mission truly begins. It's time to use the Knowledge Gem as much as possible, sandbagging the entire way so that I squeeze in as many actions as I possibly can. For example, I'm making Leone use her weakest bow, knowing that it will leave the wolf with enough HP so that Balthus can also attack him with a bow of his own, without depleting the first health bar. Next in line is Ignatz, who needs to take the hand axe back from Claude, and also has to grab the gem from Balthus. His attack would be really unsafe, were it not for the fact that his is the finishing blow on the first bar. Hilda's flight is amazing because it lets me cheat at Snake. She can go to the end of the line, grab the gem, act, and then effectively teleport it to a new location to start a new Snake. And now the knowledge gem returns to Byleth's capable hands. Unfortunately, the line ends here for now, because there's a monster in the way. Now that Cyril has taken care of that little problem, Lawrence can move in to continue the chain. This mission is pretty complicated, especially when you're not immediately rushing the boss, but that's not why it's 50 minutes long. Prepare yourself for a lot of menuing. It's not so feasible to do something like this on most maps. Usually you'll want to split your forces to some extent, and it's just not possible for 10 people to all pass one item in such a way that they each have something to do when they get it. And later on we'll have a bunch of accessories that really matter and that I can't temporarily take off for some extra points. But here and now, with giant 4-tile enemies who have tons of HP, who appear in waves of 2 or 3, and whose targeting priorities I can easily manipulate, I can get real creative. If you defeat all 3 wolves before you engage any of the monsters on the south end of this map, as I have, then the reinforcements the next turn are 2 birds in the northwest corner and a wolf to the west. Conversely, if you fight the southern enemies first, then 3 birds appear in the northeast corner. I want to get everyone over to fight the birds, and I want only Byleth to end up in range of the wolf on enemy phase. To do that, I'm making Marianne use her second stride, but not before passing the knowledge gem to Balthus. In moving Balthus here, I have a choice of which weapon to use against this bird and which piece of its barrier I want to break. I choose to target the bottom left square because I want to leave the upper left one intact. When I'm engaging monsters for the first time on my own turn, my approach is different from when they attack me. They aren't charging up their staggering blows yet, so I'm not trying to break all their barriers right now. Instead, I'm planning to use a gambit, not to stun the enemies, but rather to draw aggro to specific people. That's why I'm being selective about which barriers I attack. I don't want to accidentally break them all. Instead, I want to control the monster for this turn, and then destroy its barrier on the next turn. For particularly difficult enemies, this can buy me 2 turns in a row where the monster's threat is limited. Leone and Cyril are the 2 units with archer battalions. Those are the ones I'll be using for this job. I have to make sure they're holding bows of their own before they use their gambits so that they can counterattack properly on enemy phase. Notice that Leone's fusillade specifically doesn't hit the upper left tile, so the bird remains active and will attack Leone. Cyril's attack spills over onto the bottom left corner of the upper bird, so I could have messed up if I had left that bottom left tile as the only unbroken one before and inadvertently shattered it now. It's the same situation with the lower bird. I have to leave one barrier intact. It's still stunned temporarily, so Claude gets a free attack here. The bird is now unstunned. However, Petra does enough damage with her bow to deplete the first bar, so she doesn't face a counterattack either. You've got to be aware of the latent abilities on monsters. Giant birds on their last health bar have Darting Blow, so Cyril now gets doubled. Leone still doesn't because Hilda sealed the top bird's speed. Byleth finally moves in. He's now in range of the wolf. I can't have Lawrence take the gem because Byleth needs it for enemy phase.
Sorry.
Not as hard as...
All according to plan, but now I have 3 threats on top of me and another 2 about to join the party. Where does the trade chain go now? This little gap between Wolf and Wall looks like a dead end. That means Byleth should have to take the gem back immediately after Petra uses it. But that's less than ideal, because then I won't have a way to get him attacked on enemy phase while holding it. Claude doubles down, going even further into the opening. Bonus points for you if you spot my way out.
Commit...
It is, of course, my Pegasus Knight. Hilda uses just 5 of her movement points to go over the cliff next to Claude, where she can destroy the wolf's final shield. Now Kanto allows her to go 1 space back to the east, where my foot units can reach her. With effective damage from his bow, Ignatz is strong enough to kill the uppermost bird through its last barrier. These monster kills grant a lot of XP, so I can use this mission not only to generate a ton of class mastery points, but also to catch my weaker units up with my strongest ones. Cyril is the same as Ignatz, punching through the last shield for a kill and a nice haul of mithril. Now that some space is open to the south, I can continue the trade sequence in that direction.
That helps.
Marianne finally gets the chance to attack. Because I have so many bows on hand, the wolves are more threatening than the birds, and her chip damage here is much appreciated. Balthus isn't taking the gem because I need it to go in a different direction. Nevertheless, he's happy with the kill here boosted by Professor's guidance. And now Byleth takes the knowledge gem back to deliver another attack. However, I don't want that crit. It'll cost someone else a chance to attack later. It came on the second hit, so if I can think of a way to achieve all the same things while using up fewer random numbers, I might be able to negate it. Balthus is my solution. He used up 4 numbers before, 1 roll for hitting and 1 for critting on each attack over 2 attacks. Using a combat art instead, he can still get the kill, but now he uses 3 random numbers, 1 for hitting, 1 for critting, and 1 for his crest. Now I'm 1 step earlier in the sequence and I get no crit.
Let's get to it.
Byleth isn't in range of any enemy right now, but with reposition, Leone can fix that. Now the knowledge gem is far away from most of my units, and I have to circle it back around. Counterintuitively, I'm sending Leone out to take it even farther away. The March Ring lets Petra run all the way out here to trade with Leone and break another of the bird's barriers. And now Balthus can run south on his own to shatter the last one. With Fading Blow, he does little enough damage to avoid the kill. With the enemy left on just a sliver of HP, someone else will get a free attack next turn even when the bird isn't stunned.
Thank you.
Who, me?
It's time for Hilda to prove her worth once more. Not only can she ferry the knowledge gem some more, she can also hit the wolf from outside of its range to cut its speed.
Ready when you are.
Now, just like on turn 3, Cyril can attack safely.
Ready anytime.
He left the wolf with enough HP for Ignatz to strike without killing too.
Ready and willing.
Which means Claude can perform one extra attack for the kill. Here he leaves a one-tile gap between himself and Byleth.
I expect.
Lawrence can fit in there. However, if Lawrence were to take the knowledge gem and use it, then Byleth would have to take it back from him and wouldn't be able to move afterward. And no enemies are targeting Byleth, so it would go to waste if Byleth stayed where he is. Instead, I just have Lawrence transfer the gem across from Claude to Byleth by trading with each of them in turn.
Thanks.
With the gem in hand, Byleth gets a chance to run east and attack one bird while drawing the attention of another one for enemy phase.
Disappoint.
3 turns have passed since the first wave of reinforcements, so now we get the second and final wave. Byleth will move first. I'm not worried about making sure he gets one extra fight with the gem on enemy phase right now. I'm surrounded by monsters, and the top priority is to get the situation under control. Claude's Gambit simultaneously stuns one bird and breaks a barrier on another. Great results for a single move. Petra gets one free hit with a killing blow, while Leone is strong enough to just tank the counterattack.
I'm a bit uneasy.
Leone did just enough damage for Ignatz to kill with Helm Splitter on his steel axe. If she had come up a little short, she could have used a heavier bow or a combat art. In the former case, I would have had to remember to make Ignatz switch her back to something lighter. The easternmost bird is still active and could attack her. For that same reason, when Lawrence trades for the gem, he also needs to make Ignatz equip his iron bow. Ignatz has taken heavy damage, but Lawrence can easily undo all that with Recover. Oh, and he masters Mage. Marianne does that same favor for Cyril, the other guy who attacked an active wolf from point-blank range last turn.
Oh, well, thanks.
I'm left with just 3 units against 3 live monsters. This looks really scary, but I can get out of this jam with my battalions. Cyril targets a bird. I had him equip his silver bow. The bird will double him, but the silver bow does enough damage to wipe out the bird's first health bar in one shot, so he'll avoid that second hit as long as his counterattack is aimed at a tile with no barrier. I specifically aimed his gambit to make that happen. There's no place the bird can attack Cyril from where the bottom left tile is closest to him. Hilda handles the wolf. He's fast and could kill anyone else, but Hilda's pretty speedy herself, and she can seal his speed. Balthus goes last. It falls to him to handle the other bird.
We will lend a hand.
After all that, I still have 5 monsters around me, but I am nevertheless completely safe. Or not.
Be worse, but looks like my fun's over.
Well, now I've got to fix that.
Let me at him.
The trouble is that Balthus has Brawling Prowess level 3, but his Bow Prowess is only level 1. He gets 2 less crit avoid with bows, so he faces 5 crit with his training bow, but only 3 with gauntlets. If the number rolled for that crit was either a 3 or a 4, then he'll negate it with gauntlets equipped. If it's even lower, I'll have to figure something else out. He also gets better avoid from gauntlets, so that might save him too.
May I help?
Hey, what do you know? That crit and lethal follow-up turned into a hit and a miss.
Sure, pal.
Only now do I realize that when I redid Balthus' move, I left the knowledge gem on Hilda. Balthus couldn't take advantage of it on enemy phase, but I still wanted him to have it. Hilda can do Canto hijinks, but those are less effective when she's the one starting with the gem.
We will lend a hand.
Sure, pal.
Ready when you are.
With a little help from Monster Breaker, Cyril finishes off the wolf's first bar. Remember how his poisoned arrows left the westernmost bird with just 1 barrier segment? Anyone with curve shot can break that to stun him, and Ignatz is just the man for the job.
I will get the victory.
I feel like I did a really good job menuing on this recording, but you can't win them all. Petra's assembly disables the next bird. With the wolf already stunned, the western half of my little formation is secure.
Me?
Had Balthus been able to use his bow after his gambit, this would have been an easy kill. Now it's a very close thing.
Ready and willing.
I need Claude to break this shield, and his hand axe can do it without even killing, which is great. Unfortunately, it misses, and that's not acceptable.
Ready and willing.
I have him take Hilda's training bow because I want to see whether that's weak enough to do 13 damage or less, just like the hand axe. But it does just a little too much. Better to first try the hand axe with the accuracy ring, and no knowledge gem, sadly. That works.
Who, me?
Sorry.
Let's get to it.
Leonie can use Curve Shot to hit the opposite corner of the bird from 4 spaces away.
I stand ready.
That enables Lawrence to shatter the last segment. Once again, he transfers the knowledge gem across to Byleth without using it himself. But it's okay, he already mastered his class.
Stay focused.
Now Byleth can move to the right, where he can use a gambit on the last active enemy.
No problem.
The only attack on this coming enemy phase will be aimed at him. I have no idea why monsters get stuck in these animation loops sometimes.
I will get the victory.
Anyway, another turn, another trade chain. You know the drill by now. Claude gets B Authority, a big milestone. I don't have any B rank battalions yet, but that'll change soon. With all the bowmen I have running around, the birds don't scare me at all, but I still need a way to handle the wolf. Marianne takes the knowledge gem for herself while healing Claude. Importantly, her move also shifts it one place to the left.
Okay. Who, me?
Sure, pal.
Balthus currently does 46 damage to the wolf. However, I can improve that. Hilda can safely attack the wolf from outside its range, but then she can also use Canto to stop inside its range, where she now provides a link bonus against the wolf. That linked attack grants Balthus 1 extra point of damage at C support ring, and if he's adjacent to her, her personal ability gives him 3 more. Now he does 54 damage with the forged steel gauntlets. After Hilda's chip shot, that's more than enough to kill.
Ready when you are.
Balthus is really low on HP, and there are still 2 birds active. But Ignatz can solve that problem, not through offense, but with defense. He's got the Alliance Wyvern Company, and after he passes the Knowledge Gem on to Leone, we finally get to see it in action. Impregnable Wall on Cyril and Balthus causes the birds to target Ignatz, but they can't both reach him at the same time.
Much needed.
Noble.
Leone's reposition puts Byleth in range of the boss. I can't afford to send him down to fight the boss all by himself, so he's just going to wait at the edge of its range. If Leone had been injured, he could heal her up, but unfortunately she's at full HP. Bolganone is the only spell Byleth has that can do any damage here. With his crippling battalion, he's that weak.
That is the best you can...
I'm a bit uneasy.
We're just about done. All that remains is to finish off the last 2 giant birds and then to swarm the boss.
Appreciated.
I can still build a chain as I prepare for the boss, though. With Recover, Lawrence makes sure that Byleth has more than enough HP.
Hey, look at you.
So nice of you.
Thank you.
I get...
Ready anytime.
I'd love to have 2 people fight the last bird, but I don't want whoever attacks it to be too far from the boss, so they need to attack at range. It'll die to just about any bow, and I don't want Claude to take too much damage using his hand axe. With Impregnable Wall active, that's not a problem. Petra kills the bird. She has the Knowledge Gem now, but that's no good because I want Byleth to have it when he fights the boss again.
I could use a break.
So here's my play. First, have Cyril transfer the gem over to Hilda. Then make Hilda fly over to Byleth and give it to him. She's pretty low on health herself, and she can't fly out of range, so she uses a vulnerary instead of cantoing back. And now the boss fights Byleth, who gets to use the knowledge gem that he had at the start of the turn in the first place. It's time to dogpile the boss, but not too hard. Balthus can take whatever the monster can dish out, so he's a good choice to initiate.
Who, me?
Also, because Balthus is now in the way, Hilda's Assembly Gambit doesn't move the boss at all. She masters Pegasus Knight. She got all 40 class points she needed. Byleth masters Mage for Fiendish Blow, and of course Raphael already finished Brigand for Death Blow. I can't continue the barrier break chain and keep passing the knowledge gem at the same time, so someone else besides Balthus is also going to face a counterattack. But since this is a killing blow, Leone avoids any damage here.
Can't it
Even Marianne can join in without getting killed. I'm thinking about which units I should feed the 2 remaining kills to. Ignatz can finish off the second bar now, but maybe it's better to have Claude or Petra do it. In the end, I commit to Ignatz. Petra has a gambit available, so I could make her break the final barrier, then have Claude attack with no retaliation. But if Claude attacks into this demonic beast barrier, then he can't crit, and I definitely don't want him to kill the boss early with an untimely critical hit. And I've done the bad thing. Claude took the Knowledge Gem, then the Steel Axe, and that means the Knowledge Gem won't get equipped properly, so I put the Accuracy Ring back on, then equipped the gem manually.
Do you think it was one? No. Let us help.
This will be the last turn, finally.
I'll bail you out.
It's so great that Gambits can't crit. To whichever person at Intelligence Systems decided on that, thank you. So, I hope it's been kind of interesting to watch me map out these complicated move sequences. If you're afraid that every video after this will just feature me in the trade menus half the time, don't be. Like I said earlier, the circumstances in this battle are very different from what you see anywhere else in this game. I think it makes a really interesting one-off exercise to abuse the Knowledge Gem across the whole team for an entire battle, but while I'll certainly be passing it around to some extent in the future, we're never going to do anything quite like this again.
I'm a bit uneasy.
Once he has the Knowledge Gem back, I can send Ignatz up to do some extra cheese. The small brain play is to use Impregnable Wall in order to neuter enemy attacks, but the big brain play is to intentionally sabotage your own units so that they can all do extra battles they wouldn't get otherwise.
Thank you.
Sure, pal. Yeah.
You better be careful.
I would have Cyril attack after passing the Knowledge Gem along, but 15% crit rate is an unacceptable risk.
Appreciate that.
Like Cyril, Hilda does 9 damage here, or 27 on a crit. But in her case, I can change that. 2 points of her damage are coming from her B support with Claude. Without that, she does only 7, or 21 on a crit, which leaves me enough of an HP buffer for Byleth to get an attack either way. All my maneuvering gives Claude the boss kill with the Knowledge Gem and Professor's Guidance for 20% more XP. Claude hits level 18, and Flame just barely doesn't level up again, which I guess is nice, because you can get that level with superior Pegasus growths instead. So that's that. With our best training tool acquired and already thoroughly exploited, we're really well prepared to hit some big milestones pretty soon.
Before any more hawks or wolves join us.
Next time we're off to Gloucester territory. There we can get 2 incredible rewards. If you want to see what goes down, please subscribe. I'll see you there.